So with this next technique, what we're going to be looking at, the tiger beetle is going to be our subject, and we are looking at the 6-spotted tiger beetle, green 6-spotted tiger beetle, which is actually native to our area. Yes, you can find these great little predators here in our own area, and they're actually gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous emerald green with 6 white spots on them. And if you don't believe me, pull a picture here, but we are going to be looking at stippling. Okay, go ahead and write that down in your sketchbooks. Boop, boop, boop. Like I said, beautiful emerald green coloring. Just beautiful bug in general. So stippling, if we drew a circle and we used a pin, because pin is the easiest to do, we are going to use actually dots to give looking a shadow. First things first, we're going to keep a clear jelly bean of no dots here at the top for what's called our highlight, and the other part of this circle we're going to fill in, and yes, the whole place is going to sound like woodpeckers after y'all get your stuff. So we're going to leave that jelly bean at the top here for our highlight. Okay, and already it's starting to take on kind of a spherical shape here. And then we're actually going to make a darker band that runs in between the front side of this and the back side of this. So this is going to be what's called our core shadow. And as you can see, just using ink just works so well with this technique. You can do it with technical pens, or you can do it with what's called a crow quill pen. It's the kind you dip the pen into actual ink. So you're going to make a darker band running through the middle of this. I'm just going to smack some on there. Alright, so we have the highlight, which is the jelly bean that we left. This first band before the darker band is called the mid-tone. We of course have the core shadow. And then we have light that of course is reflecting off the surface and bouncing back and actually highlighting the bottom of the surface, and this is reflected light on the underside of this object. That's supposed to be a G. And if we did kind of a loose oval, okay, to show a shadow, and it can be kind of a blob, a roundish blob. If we filled this in, this would be our cast shadow, not to be mistaken with core shadow. It's always going to be opposite of the highlight. And it's always going to be darkest right up against your object that it is being cast by. So right here is going to be the darkest that the cast shadow is. Make it so dark right there. There can be no doubt. So cast shadow. And this is basic stippling art. I just love stippling. It's called that because of the noise it makes. So in a lot of technical and scientific art, stippling helps capture such minute details. I've done a raccoon skull in technical pen using stippling, and it just turned out so gorgeous. It does take a little bit of patience though, because you're doing a lot of little dots. So what we're going to do is we're going to pass around a piece of paper to each of y'all, and I want you to start with pencil first, not with permanent marker, because then you can actually erase. I'm going to be drawing it out with pen just so you can see it easy peasy on my thing. But we are going to be doing a stippling technical artwork of a tiger beetle for your insect project. And of course this is a Coleoptera insect, since it is in the beetle family. Whew. I'm out of breath. Alright, pen. I hope everyone got this. Cool. Cool. You can do it with pencil too, it's just not as lucrative, I feel, as a pen. Okay, pen or permanent marker. In this case, starting with pencil for you, and then you'll transition to permanent marker. I'm going to go over my pen with permanent marker. Just remember, my camera absolutely hates pencil. Okay, so we're going to go, we'll actually start down here with the abdomen. Ladies like a man with a big back porch, I'm not gonna lie. So we're going to start with the abdomen down here. With a line running down the middle, or the hard shell that Coleoptera is so known for. We're going to have the 6 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These kind of look like puddles. And 6, or racetracks. So those are the 6 spots that we're looking for. Up here at the top, we're going to have the hinge. Okay. You know what? This might be so thin, it might be hard for some of y'all to see. I'm nearsighted, so I didn't appreciate when my professors or teachers made it hard for me to see, so I'm just going to go straight to permanent marker. I'm looking at that, and I'm like, if that looks small on my screen, I bet it looks small to everyone else in the back. Far away from my nice collection of pens. Alright, there we go. So I have this. Now we're going to go up to the thorax, and we're going to do this number, and then we're going to kind of pooch it out. And we are going to add a kind of flexible bit here. So we got the carapace, which is the tough shell that is a part of the exoskeleton on the back, And then growing out of this, you're of course going to have the head with large, wonderful eyes. Even though they can't see when they're going super duper fast, that is okay. Now we're not going to give eye shine on the eyes just yet. We are going to put two, and then we're going to give them the long, luscious antenna that they so well deserve. Beetles are actually very much in demand for insect collectors because their tough exoskeletons stand up well to pinning. Unfortunately, they are often in bright colors, just like this wonderful tiger beetle. Let me zoom in on this. They come in so many different shapes and sizes, and people just feel because there's so many of them that they can collect as many as they want. But unfortunately, this has made a lot of beetles that are pretty extremely endangered just because of collectors who want to collect insects. If you want to buy a frame full of butterflies or beetles or anything like that, you can actually get some that are really good replicas of actual insects that were never alive in the first place. They've either been 3D printed or very carefully crafted by people who appreciate the beauty of these animals but don't want to have to sacrifice the lives of these animals just for decoration. So remember that if you're ever at a flea market and you see someone selling butterflies or beetles. Sorry, I'm very conscious about what this needs to be. Alright, we're going to put a little mustache kind of looking thing here. With a small piece coming out of that. It's what's around that that is amazingly useful to the insect itself. We are going to come out and come out. And we are going to do the mandibles or jaws, which look large and terrifying, and that's because they are, of this wonderful, interesting insect. So add the mandibles to this. There are different types of mouth parts, each with a different type of function according to what the insect eats. Some are grinding. Okay, let's say like a grasshopper, it slowly grinds up the piece of grass or vegetation it's eating, turns it into a pulp, which it eats. Okay, if you ever picked up a grasshopper and had it spit tobacco at you, no, it's just ground up juices from its vegetation that is regurgitated as something that looks gross and hopefully makes you drop it. Alright, there's biting, sucking parts like mosquitoes. There's mandibles like here of this. There's proboscis of butterflies and moths. They can't bite you at all because they don't have any biting parts. So yeah, there's a lot of different types of mouth parts when it comes to insects. Alright, coming from here, we're going to do tiny little shoulder pads. And from those tiny little shoulder pads, we're going to give some forearms. Come on down. Come on down. And we are going to give what are called tarsals. Tarsals are the different foot parts of an insect, and you can actually tell what species they are according to how many tarsals they have. So we're going to add 1, 2, 3 with 2 toe-like projections at the top. What you do one side, of course, do to the other. Alright, so we got the front legs, but now for the back legs, I like them big. I like them chunky. He likes them big. He likes them chunky. Alright, so we're going to have a little bit of chunkier back legs for this insect species. Oh, I almost forgot. We have some feeling hairs. Since they have to run so fast, they actually have feeling hairs on their legs to help them keep track, at least touch-wise, with their environment. But they are still running so fast, like the video said, they have to stop and actually look around and then keep running in the direction they want to go. Run so fast that everything is a blur. Alright, so we go from big and chunky to nice and thin, big and chunky to nice and thin. And we're really going to go long with these back legs here. One, two, three, with two, and we have some feeling hairs here. 1, 2, 3. Feeling hairs here. And it looks like it's got a few others just to help it keep track. And that is the basic outline of a tiger beetle. Bet you haven't drawn such a detailed bug in your life. But this is just the basic outline. So since this is a shiny bug, yes, they are iridescent with their beautiful green coloration and everything. We are going to do the spots in a way that also says iridescent. So follow with me as we stipple in this. If you need me to be paused so you can catch up with all these wonderful little details, pause me now. Otherwise, I'm heading forward. Alright, let's start with the abdomen. Okay. 2 lines coming down these sides right here. And yes, this is the part you're doing with permanent marker now. So if you need to pause me and everyone gets a permanent marker, you can do it with a thin permanent marker, you do it with a thick permanent marker. Fine, with whatever kind you choose. But we are going to put a range of dots toward these sides because these sides are curved like this. Alright, we're also going to be giving a little bit of detail up here. The thickest amount of dots should be right at the edge. And we're going to give a few down the middle of the carapace as well. And if you feel you need to come back in, this is almost kind of the same kind of zen that you feel with, what's his face? Bob Ross. That's him. Bob Ross. Alright, we're going to do the hinge here. I really want to make a concentration of dots right there with that. I have a few, not terribly a lot, definitely not like at the edge, but just a few here and there. Alright, so now we're starting to get kind of that feel. Okay, we have obviously a dent going down here, we have a dent up here, and we're having kind of these sides that are now cascading over because it is a round abdomen of this beetle. It is not a flat object. Okay, moving up to the thorax, same thing. We're actually going to keep the highlight kind of more in the middle of this, and we're going to go around the edges. I'm going to put a little bit down the center, but not just the line of dots, just like we did down here. And of course, the largest amount of dots are going to be on either side. And we're going to continue that trend up through the head. I do want one line here and one line here. Yes, I know my eyeballs are not the same size, but that's okay. I'm moving on. And we're going to put a line of dots at the back of the head here, and same thing going down the neck. They had to have a pretty powerful neck on this insect because of the reason they grapple and wrestle and tear apart their prey as soon as they catch it. So they need thick exoskeleton at the neck joint to assist them with that. So again, we have the highest concentration toward the edge. Okay, and we're going to have a line of dots here at the top of the head as well. For the eyes, and I think this is where stippling really helps with insects, since they are compound. We're going to do them just like our spheres that we did earlier. We're going to put a round highlight in the eyes itself, and the rest we are going to actually make look like compound eyes by simply filling up with dots. And we're going to have the greatest concentration of dots where that eye joins the body. Deepen it up just a little bit there. Yeah. I like stippling a lot. Stippling is something that I just jam to, put on some tunes, and you're just like, so you get it done. So we have these wonderful eyes now, okay? If I'm going too fast for anyone, you just pause me. We're going to put a little bit working on the antenna. Now these thin parts, don't need so many dots, but we do need a little bit of detail. Okay, these are segmented antennae, so we are going to draw in dots or little lines to show where the segmentation is. Alright, don't need too much on this front mouthpiece here. Need just a little bit at the tip of this one, but we definitely need a concentration. Put 2 lines running up the mandibles, and then we are going to fill in beside that 2 lines of dots. Now, for the legs, okay, we've done the main part of our beautiful insects, but now what we're going to be doing for the legs is, since they're cylinders pretty much, we're going to have the dots on the outsides, but nothing in the middle. So we're going to actually have the highlight in the very middle of the leg itself. And for these smaller parts, you just need to break it down to one line of dots running down the leg. Okay, so as I get to the thinner parts, I'm just going to have it on one side. Going to have the highlight coming from this direction. Okay, what you do to one leg, you have to match it with the others, or it's just going to look very odd, or the leg's twisted around, and you don't want that. So for thicker parts, you're going to have the lines of dots running down, highlight in the middle. Turn this so y'all can see. Right, and since the highlight is on this side, we're going to also have the highlight on this side, shadows at the back. Come on, pen, stay with me. Thank you. Alright, and we're going to do the same for the other parts of the leg. You can put a little bit of a shadow right here, because this is emerging from underneath. At this point, the hinge is actually underneath the body. And I got a thin one here, highlight on this side, highlight's going to be on this side. And just go with it. The smaller, I made that so thin right there, it's a little hard, but that's okay. So we're just going to finish it up. And if you feel you need to add some more dots in one area, go for it. I mean, seriously. Gonna make sure this looks like it's coming from underneath by adding it. You shush. My phone scared me. Thick connection right here, 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 and here as I come in. And we are almost done. Alright, and as you finish up on your paper, it looks so much better than just a line drawing. It really comes alive when you use stippling to do your work like this. I just love it. I just love this technique. And it's so relaxing. It will either drive you mad, or you will be so relaxed by the time you're done with it. It is an act of patience to make it pop like this, though. Alright, sign it at the bottom with your name. Alright, and that will be your grade. So if you're like, I don't want to do that, well, too bad, it's a grade. And once you are done and you feel that your tiger beetle is glowing, I want you to give it to Miss Lorenz, and she will be grading them for you. Alright. Add any more dots if you need to, and we will see you in the next video.